So, were you just recently bit by the Warhammer bug? If so, I can help with that. And by help, I mean get you severely addicted to plastic crack and screaming blood for the blood god while your mouth is foaming.
Blood for the blood god! Blood for the blood god! Blood for the blood god! Burn the heretic! Kill the mutant! Purge the act!
So, how do you exactly get started in 40k? What are the best ways? So I have it broken down into a couple of different avenues on how to best approach it based on what interests you the most. First, we're going to start out with video games, which is a medium right now in Warhammer that is probably better than ever to hop into. You've got games like Space Marine 2, which came out the end of last year, and that involves you playing as Space Marines and fighting the Tyranids and Chaos Space Marines. So much customization. The lore and everything is pretty on point. You can't go wrong with that game. It's fun. You can play it with two of your other buddies. You can play online PvP to PvE, and it's got the bugs in it. My favorite. I love them. And your big boy Dreadnought here running around fucking shit up with you. Pretty A1. So that's more of like your classic like power fantasy. He plays a Space Marine and you're just slaughtering things. Amazing. Other hand is Darktide. Now Darktide is more grounded in a sense, not really if lore wise, but you play as operatives that are in like a penance legion almost. You're sent out to the city of Tertia, where you're supposed to fight a plague, an infestation by the chaos god Nurgle. All these poxwalkers and demons and shit running around, and you have to go and infiltrate and eliminate all of these threats. Now that's more of like your regular humans and the Ogryn. Shout out the Ogryn Rock. You got las guns, chain swords, maces, clubs, shotguns, the whole nine. Bolters too. And when you're playing Space Marine 2, you see him just casually wielding the bolter. And in Darktide, just being a regular guy holding the bolter, the amount of... but that's more of like a grounded sense. That game is also very fun. Other avenue I'd recommend going down is audiobooks. Now, Audible has a plethora of the audiobooks. I personally just say audiobooks on Audible because I find that easiest to digest when you're working out, you're traveling, you're at work. It's just so easy to throw some headphones in, put the audiobook on, and just dive into the lore. A few of my personal favorites would be the Night Lords trilogy by Aaron Dembski Bowden. Amazing books. The Night Lords are one of, if not my favorite Chaos Legion. Good read, good listen. Another couple of good ones would be The Infinite and Divine, which is about the Necrons, which are basically robot mummies in layman's terms for new people. It's basically a book about two Necrons that are having a multi-million year prank war. It's funny, it's a good listen, that's fun. And a few other ones are the Plague Wars series, which is like more of like the current setting slash recent setting, I should say, where it's Rabude Gilliman has come back and he needs to fight off the Death Guard invasion by Mortarion. They're coming in. That's also a good read. Some key stuff happening there between Gilliman and the Emperor. Cool stuff. And then lastly, Hell's Reach. Hell's Reach is just, it's peak. It's great. Orc invasion of the planet, Hell's Reach, defended by the Imperial Guard, the Black Templars, some Salamanders. It's a amazing read. And the Titans. Titans. That's it. That's all I gotta say. Oh yeah, and I did mention plastic crack at the beginning. Some of you might be wondering, Jared, what the fuck are you talking about? Crack? Plastic crack? Models. Plastic? Crack. You will become addicted to this shit. I don't even want to fathom how much money I've spent on all of my models and paints and shit like that, but it is so fucking fun to build and paint these damn things. You get addicted to it so fast. The models are so cool. Every single model, whether it's, this is a little bit of a kit bash, so it doesn't count, but like a dreadnought, there's lore and significance to every single one of these models. You pick up a model in the store, you could immediately look it up and be like, oh, what the hell is this thing? And you'll find pages upon pages and pages of lore behind every single character, even if it's not a named thing, like a dreadnought. This is literally a guy that almost or technically died in the service of the Imperium and was entombed in a sarcophagus and placed inside of a war machine to fight again. Only in death does duty end. So he is not dead, his duty is not over. And some of these guys are thousands and thousands of years old. These guys, they pop out of the ground. I can go on for hours about this stuff, but the models are fun to build, fun to paint. You could do it quick and, sloppy if you just want to get your guys on the table, or you can spend a lot of time and really put your mind and your heart into a painting or doing a custom kit bash. Like, these wings were not part of this character. This was from another model, but I thought it would look cool if he had big wings on him and he had a little guy skewered on his tail. Little stuff like that. It adds up and it, brings more character to your models. And then lastly with that is actually playing the game. So not only do you get to build and paint these really sick figures, right? You get to assemble an army with all of these guys. And once you have these models all together, you could find someone else and you could pit your two forces against each other and have a battle where there's objectives and all sorts of other fun stuff. And in my opinion, the easiest way to get into doing this would just to be find which army you think looks the coolest. You're like, wow, those Space Marines look kind of crazy, but these orcs got these really Mad Max looking vehicles. That's pretty sick. Find that army and either pick up a box of just base infantry units, or honestly, what I think is the best bet to do now is just pick up a combat patrol box. That's basically a army in a box. It's not necessarily full army, but if you and a couple of your buddies are just getting into the hobby, you could each pick up one of those boxes, and that's enough of an army to fight against each other. And in 10th edition, there's a whole combat patrol mode you can play where the rules and stuff are slightly different and tweaked to allow each one of the boxes to fight and play against each other in a semi-balanced way. So you can pick up, say, a Grey Knight box, your buddy can pick up a Space Marine box, and your other buddy can pick up some Tyranids or whoever they want. And that's enough to where you could just build them together. You could throw them on the table and roll some dice immediately. And also, don't be afraid to use some cost-cutting things. Sure, some of the stuff does get expensive. The paints, the models, all this stuff. It can add up quick if you're trying to just dive into it. But, like terrain and stuff, just take some cardboard boxes, some pizza boxes, and cut them out into shapes and walls, some cans, you can save money elsewhere. And also, you could also just get some 3D printed models. I know a good chunk of not a good chunk, but I've got a few models in my army that are fully 3D printed, or I use some bits to customize my guys so they all stand out a bit compared to everyone else's. Also, eBay is a great source to find used models and rule books and yada yada yada. You could also find some rules online for free. Wahapedia is great, Battle Scribe, stuff like that. And then the last couple of things, some animations. Fan animations are amazing. Some of them are really good. The Astartes projects, you may have seen them already. Warhammer picked them up. They were like, hey, you're gonna either take this down or you come work for us. So he works now for Games Workshop. But Astartes, the Hell's Reach animated movie, some of the Hammer and Bolter things on Warhammer Plus, pretty good. The Blood Angels series, there's so many out there you could just look up. You could just show that to someone and you don't even have to know what Warhammer is, and you could just find that and be like, wow, that was crazy cool. And then lastly, just some other lore YouTube videos. You could just put it on while you're doing something and be like, oh, what's this guy? And you could just search it up. And you could get lost for hours and hours and hours. There's hundreds of books on everything Warhammer, so you can get lost pretty easily. But yeah, I really dig this stuff. I find it really cool. I've been into doing Warhammer building, painting, lore, everything since the end of 8th edition, beginning of 9th. I got in right before the Indominus box came out. That was kind of my delve into it. I like split it up with a buddy. And yeah, ever since I've just been hooked. It's so fun. The lore is insane and interesting. But yeah, like, wow, what a series. What a compendium of fun and cool shit. And you will become addicted to crack, plastic crack, and you will be frothing from the mouth, screaming blood for the blood god, skulls for the skull throne. And if you're not, what are you doing? But yeah, let me know if you guys enjoyed this. Subscribe if you want to see more Warhammer stuff. Also, I am like 5 subs away from 100 subs. If we could get there with this, that would be amazing. That would be so cool, having 100 subs. Not trying to like e-beg or anything, but like, shit, that'd be cool, you know? If you have any suggestions, stuff you want to see, particular topics you want to hear me talk about, because I know a stupid amount about all of this stuff. Whether it's hobbying, whether it's lore, anything with this, I know a lot. So throw it in the comments, pick my brain, and I will get back to you on that. And I will see you in the next one. See ya.